Real YouTubers messed up this video the first time they tried to record it. I really hope that I don't make a mistake and lose all my footage, because that's what happened. Well, that's not exactly what happened, if we're going to be honest. What happened was somehow... So, here's the deal. Today we're doing, like, video, okay? It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so basically what happened is we're doing match review. I'll talk a little bit more about it soon, but basically, long story short is that I have a friend named Faye. Faye is a professional voice actress. She's very good with her voice. And she's also a pro gamer, epic gamers, and any gamers here, any gamers watching, any gamers in chat, any gamers here making the gaming. Think about it if you want. Time to put the headphones in. And so Faye comes from a background in fighting games. Her background, she's played Pokken. I know for a while. She actually made it through the LCQ in 2016 at World, so we were at the tournament together, although we were not friends at the time. Which is very cool. But yeah, she and I have played Ultimate together. She kicked my butt. She's a pro gamist, right? And recently she became interested in Pokemon. I believe she's actually played in some VGT events before, like in 2017, but I think not to the same level of like comfort, and didn't put as much prep in as she has over the last few weeks. So basically, there was a women's tournament 4 weeks, sometime not that long ago, and Faye wanted to enter it, and so she worked really hard in Series 6, and she did really well. She went X3. I don't remember if it was 4-3 or 5-3, because I forgot how many rounds there were, but she did very, very well. Like, basically one win away from top cutting, which Pokemon is not an easy game to learn, so it's very, very impressive. And recently the Players' Cup happened, so I'm filming this on Saturday afternoon, Saturday right before... Wait, no, Sunday? What day is it? Sunday? Yeah, basically right before the tournament is over. It's going to be Yom Kippur soon, so to all my fellow Jews, I hope your name gets written in the right book. But anyway, so Faye is playing in the Players' Cup. This VOD is from Thursday, I believe. Either Thursday or Friday. I think it's Thursday. And I know, so I get asked a lot about Pokemon-related things. I get like several DMs at least a day of people asking me to review their teams and asking for advice, and I don't have time to answer the majority of them, I'll be honest. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't have the effort, or I don't have the resources, I don't have the time. However, I think something that could be really interesting is doing some kind of match review. So, obviously you have watched me play Pokemon, you've watched me talk through my decisions, but I think it can also be helpful to see someone who is pretty, relatively good in the game, look at someone playing that's not themselves. So my goal here is kind of just to talk about every little optimization, every single thing that I can think of, and hopefully it'll be useful for you all. And I'm using Faye because she's a friend, and she's someone who is, like, in my opinion, has a natural talent for VGC. She has really good instincts. And she is also new. So if you're new as well, maybe this will be helpful, because, like, I've been playing VGC for so long that some things are just, like, second nature to me, and I don't necessarily think about them, and maybe I don't explain them because of that. So, yeah. I have not watched this game. When I tried to record this video the other day, I did it on a different game, and I'm not going to redo that one because it feels disingenuous to watch a game that I've already seen before, so we're just going to do this one. I asked Faye which game she'd like me to review, so let me see. Not what I wanted. Yeah. Alright. I asked Faye which game she wanted me to review, so we're doing this one instead, in other words. So, not the one I've already seen. So, I'm actually going to pause immediately. Also, wait, let me make sure... Okay, it's not my fault. The thing is playing... Okay, hang on. Let's see if we can figure this out. Hang on. Why is this not working? For some reason, OBS doesn't understand. If I hit play... Okay, it's not my fault. Okay, hang on. Then we're going to have to redo this. Okay, it's not my fault. That makes me feel both better and worse. For some reason... Huh, okay, so for some reason... If I... It's OBS's fault. It's not... Okay, that makes more sense. It'll just play capture. Well, okay, I can't look at anything else, which means I guess I also can't check to see if it's working, but this should work. Anyway, okay, so... Display capture should save me here. Oh, wait, but my face isn't here. Hang on, we're gonna drag this down. Okay, cool. I think that should be fine. Yeah. So first of all, let's talk about preview. We see Faye here. Faye has Ninetales, Primarina, Cinderace, Incineroar, Togekiss, and Ferrothorn. Her opponent is Torkoal, Venusaur, Togekiss, Cinderace, Dusclops, and Tyranitar. So this is kind of like a standard team with a lot of threats. It's probably weakness policy Tyranitar plus Bulldoze, Dusclops. Probably Life Orb, Cinderace. Probably Focus Sash, Venusaur. Probably Togekiss, you can't really tell. And Torkoal, you probably can't tell either. Maybe Assault Vest, maybe Charcoal is kind of default. It could run other items as well. Could be bulky with the berry. when dealing with a team like this, you have to, in team preview, you have to isolate what are the most threatening things your opponent can do, and how are you going to deal with those combinations. So, one of the things that the opponent can do is they can have Venusaur plus Togekiss or Venusaur plus Torkoal. Both of those are very threatening leads because they immediately allow Venusaur to exert a lot of offensive pressure with Sleep Powder, or by just Gigantamaxing. You would figure that most of the time Dusclops is going to come to the battle sometime. It can be a lead. You can do Dusclops Togekiss, you can do Dusclops Venusaur. This team is really difficult to deal with because it has so many different options that, like, yeah, it can work. They also have Togekiss plus Cinderace, Togekiss plus Venusaur, so there's a lot going on here. Looking at the matchup, I probably wouldn't bring Ninetales because Ninetales really, really wants to be in the Hail in order to set up Aurora Veil, and since the opponent has 2 different weather setters, I don't think it's phenomenal. I think Faye's strongest Pokemon in this matchup is going to be... Or, sorry, let me slow down a little bit. I think that when you're looking at which Pokemon you want to bring, it's often easy for me to start eliminating Pokemon that you probably do not want. So, Ferrothorn is a Pokemon that I would look at potentially not bringing. You can bring it here, but it's so horrible against Torkoal. Faye is running an Iron Defense Body Press set, so it's bad against Torkoal, it's bad against Venusaur, it's bad against Togekiss, it's bad against Cinderace. It's okay versus Dusclops, and it's like good against Tyranitar. So I probably would not bring Ferrothorn, I probably would not bring Ninetales, which leaves you with the other 4. Something like Cinderace plus Togekiss could be strong with Incineroar Primarina in the back. Although this is a little awkward as well, because like you really want to Dynamax your Cinderace, but you also want to Dynamax your Primarina in this matchup. So I think looking at the leads, you're probably going to want to lead with your Togekiss here most of the time. I think something like Togekiss plus Cinderace could be strong. The opponent lacks Intimidate, so that means that your Cinderace can output a lot of offensive pressure, and you can kind of scout and see like what you want to do. Your main priority should be to get rid of the Venusaur, I think, since Primarina does a really good job against a lot of these other Pokemon. So yeah, I think that if it were me, I would consider Cinderace up front with Togekiss and then maybe Instant Primarina in the back. But there's other options as well. Like, I think pretty much any combination of these 4 should be strong. Let's see what Faye does, though. Incineroar up front is also okay. You definitely can do Incineroar up front. Yeah, like, it's pretty good with Venusaur. Actually, Incineroar Cinderace is pretty good. It's weaker against Togekiss, Venusaur, in my opinion. Actually, maybe it's not even... Actually, I don't mind this at all. So, yeah, that's a solid lead. I personally favor Togekiss. Okay. Primarina, I think, absolutely should come. And then... Okay, Ninetales is... Wait, is this recording? It's not recording. Ah, I know what happened. Okay, sorry, I'm glad I checked. I dragged the display capture too low. Okay, display capture has to be over this. Okay. Alright, cool. Okay, now you should be able to see. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Although I guess it didn't affect anything. Okay, I don't know what is up with window capture, why it won't play, but it looks like this is working, so... Yeah. So she brings Ninetales in the back. It's a risky gamble. Togekiss gives you a lot of good support here, but it's also not phenomenal because like it doesn't match up that well against a lot of the Pokemon. Basically with Ninetales, you're basically using it just as a 1 or 2 time chance to overwrite the weather. So with this kind of strategy, I don't think it's inherently bad. It's just kind of like you're basically playing a Pokemon down for the ability to reset the weather once. So it actually works out really well here. The opponent just leads with Torkoal Venusaur, and you have 2 options here in my opinion. You can either Dynamax your Cinderace, go for max Airstream if you have it, and fake out the Venusaur, which covers a lot of options, or you can Flare Blitz into the Venusaur. I think that's a pretty good move as well. Or you can, because she brought Ninetales in the back, you could switch out here as well. So it depends on if you want to read the Venusaur to protect or not. But yeah, that Incineroar is pretty bulky. So Incineroar actually is switching into Ninetales immediately. Which, since she had it, I think this is a great opportunity. I think I mentioned, but Venusaur is the thing you want to get rid of the most. And so, okay, she doesn't have Airstream. So, given she doesn't have Airstream, I actually like this lead. I like having Ninetales in the back a lot. It is really risky because, yeah, like, if the opponent went for a Trick Room lead, it could be pretty problematic. But the opponent didn't go for a Trick Room lead. And so, basically, Faye's saying, unless you switch out your Venusaur, you're almost certainly going to lose it here. And you're going to lose your weather and your speed advantages as well. So this is really good because even in the worst case scenario that Venusaur has a Focus Sash, you can still KO it with the Hail, unless Torkoal, Dynamaxes or whatever. But yeah, so it's very risky to make a move like this. But there's actually something that I like about this is that, so like I said, the opponent had 2 weathers, right? But the thing is that one of the weathers is Tyranitar, and Cinderace is so strong against Tyranitar because it can boost its defense with max Steel Spike, and it can just OHKO it with max Knuckle. So, yeah, I actually think that by focusing down the Sun here, she puts herself in a pretty nice position. And people don't really expect Ninetales in the back, so this is a pretty solid move. Of course, the Torkoal can just Eruption, and then she may have like some trouble. Like, she probably loses Ninetales, but she gains speed advantage for a turn, which is pretty valuable. And I don't know if Venusaur takes G-Max Fireball, because it's really powerful, and it's... Oh, never mind. Okay, Max Guard. So, yeah, the Max Guard is probably indicates... Okay, Double Protect. Okay. This turn goes really well for Faye, in my opinion. A lot of times Venusaur will run... They almost always run Grass and Poison moves, but they often will run Earth Power, and then the fourth move is either Protect or Sleep Powder, but a Max Guard there indicates that the opponent probably has Sleep Powder and Earth Power. If they had Protect, they might have just gone for it. But yeah, now Faye's in a pretty nice position. She can double the Venusaur if she wants, or she can go for the Aurora Veil. It's not great to go for Aurora Veil if the opponent brings in Tyranitar, but frankly, it's not great to go for Blizzard either, so I actually really like kind of like forcing your opponent to show you the Tyranitar. And yeah, I don't know if Pyro Ball KOs Venusaur, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because it's just an insanely powerful move, and she's taking advantage of the fact the opponent doesn't have Intimidate. So let's see if it's Tyranitar. It is Tyranitar. Yeah, like, it makes sense. Yeah, like, this is why you don't want to bring, like, it's risky to bring Ninetales against weather teams in general, because, like, actually, let's talk about this. So it's really risky to bring Ninetales against teams that have weather in general, because Pokemon like Torkoal and Tyranitar, which were the dominant setters of weather in this format, are extremely bulky naturally, and you run them with bulk investment as well, because, yeah, like, they're pretty frail, and so, they're not frail. They're really slow, so you don't need to invest those points in speed, unlike a Pokemon like Ninetales, which really runs investment in speed. All this to say, Pokemon like Tyranitar and Torkoal have a much easier time switching around because they have good natural bulk. Ninetales, on the other hand, normally invests in speed, and although it can invest in bulk, it's not to the same level as Tyranitar and Torkoal, both of whom get, like, defensive effects of their weather as well, with Torkoal protecting itself from water and Tyranitar buffing its special stats, so, yeah, bringing Ninetales against even one weather setter, when you can't really switch it in easily, is risky, and to bring it against two is, like, yeah, like, not phenomenal. And as you see here, this is what I was worried about in Team Preview, where, like, bringing in Ninetales actually wasn't bad, because she forced the Venusaur, like, she basically ensured that Venusaur can't attack first this turn, which is really good, but yeah, like, it's just to overwrite the weather. She can't really do that much else with Ninetales here, as you see with the failed Aurora Veil. However, it shouldn't be said that, like, overwriting the weather means you shouldn't bring Ninetales, because by overwriting the weather, as you can see, she one-shots the Venusaur, and, like, she basically trades, like, okay, I'm down a Pokemon, but you're down your Gigantamax Pokemon, and you didn't get to attack with it. So, momentum is very much in Faye's favor. If these are the Pokemon your opponent's brought, you're always going to expect Dusclops to be the last one, so I'm curious to see how she deals with this, because, number one, Dusclops could have Ally Switch, but number two, a Dusclops that goes for Trick Room while Tyranitar protects here could put her in a bit of a sticky situation. So, let's see what comes in here. I don't think it will be Torkoal. I believe that's Dusclops. Yeah, it is Dusclops, that makes sense. It's Frisk, revealing her items, like Clay has shown, and Life Orb. And now you see, like, the Ninetales again has to switch out here because it can't really do anything. But yeah, that's a really good time to bring in Incineroar. Incineroar isn't very threatened by either of these Pokemon, and yeah, like, oh, she's thinking about it. Yeah, I would really, okay, so in this situation, I would really like to see switch out. Let's see what she goes for, and I'll pause if I have to talk about it. But your Cinderace threatens Noko on the Tyranitar anyway. It's probably not going to be able to, like Tyranitar, if it wants to protect, it can protect, but yeah, I think this might be an example of maybe, like, not being as familiar with Tyranitar and the plays they like to make here. Let's see what she locks into it. She doesn't really have time to cancel. So in this instance, before I see what happens, Tyranitar is almost always going to protect here. If you go for Max Knuckle into it, then what happens is you actually end up giving it a weakness policy boost, and although you do a lot of damage through protect, you open up the possibility that you could just get swept by it and Trick Room, because Dusclops is always Trick Rooming here, or ally switching. So instead, what I would have liked to see there is Ninetales into Incineroar, and then Max Steel Spike into Dusclops. So this covers an ally switch play. It also, like, means that you don't activate the weakness policy through protect, and it makes sure that you get a -1 on the Tyranitar with Intimidate, and you get a +1 defense on your Cinderace with Steel Spike, and you got +1 on your Incineroar with Steel Spike, and you change your type to Steel, meaning you resist Rock. So, yeah, I think that would have been a really nice play that I would have liked to see. I don't think this play is awful. You're going to get a lot of damage in the Tyranitar, but if Trick Room goes up and they do, like, if they don't protect here, or if they do protect here, you might, like, yeah, you might find yourself in some trouble, because Ninetales doesn't have damage output, even though it's super effective here. But they actually switch out Tyranitar, so that might indicate Tyranitar doesn't have Protect. I think it probably does have Protect, though. And Torkoal isn't known for being super specially bulky, so, yeah, this play actually works out pretty well for Faye, and she doesn't turn herself into Steel type. Like, the play that I mentioned would have been fine as well, because you would have just fake out a Torkoal and changed your type to Fire type in that position, but, yeah. Yeah, this is still fine. She gets a lot of damage off on Torkoal. Moonblast will not KO, but it'll put it at, like, 25 to 30%, probably just above red. Yeah. And she may even get a special attack drop on the Torkoal. But again, I think overriding, like, getting Ninetales out so you can actually have it be a Pokemon at some point would be good as well. So, yeah, just about 20%, 25%. Does not get a special attack drop, and now Trick Room goes up. So this is the thing about Dusclops, Tyranitar, Torkoal, is that you can easily get swept by it if you're not careful. I would like to see her preserve the Cinderace here. However, we also have to keep in mind she does have that Primarina in the back, and it's going to be very threatening for the opponent to deal with. So this is definitely a time you want to switch into Incineroar. You're not really threatened by anything. But she just goes for... Interesting. Okay, so this turn, like, Incineroar can switch in for free. It resists Torkoal. Torkoal's not that strong. And you have Protect on your Cinderace, which is pretty rare for a Cinderace. Most Cinderace do not carry Protect. So your opponent is going to go for a Fire move and maybe even a Nightshade into your Cinderace, but you have a safe switch into Incineroar. So, like I said, Ninetales really, really wants to be fighting in the Hail, because at least you can set Aurora Veil and Blizzard and stuff, and you also want to use it to overwrite your opponent's weather, because they both get benefit. Both Tyranitar and Torkoal benefit from it pretty significantly. So, a defensive switch here burns a turn of Trick Room, and it also gives you potentially the ability to overwrite the weather later, which is going to be really relevant if Faye wants to win with something like Primarina clicking Hyper Voice, or Hydro Cannon, or Moonblast into the Tyranitar. You're going to not want it in Sand, because it's a special defense boost. So, this is a safe defensive switch. Like, Incineroar, worst case scenario, they hard read you, they hit you with Earth Power and Nightshade, you take like maybe 60, maybe 70% at most. I don't think it does that much. It'd probably be like 50%, closer to that. Like, yeah, 60%. And then you got Fake Out Pressure, you can Fake Out plus Pyro Ball in the Sun at +1 to do tons of damage to Dusclops, which may not even have Pain Split. I think it would be really good. So, let's see how this turn works out. Like, yeah, it's not inherently bad. She still will get, like, Primarina in and stuff. But I think that I would like to see a different play there. Burning Jealousy comes out. This is not going to hit the Cinderace for too much damage. It's not super strong. And Cinderace is pretty frail. And actually, it survives with 56 health, meaning it actually is just outside the range. So if that were Heat Wave, it would have gone down. That's why people don't really like... people don't really love Burning Jealousy on an offensive mon like Torkoal. But yeah, Pyro Ball comes out into Torkoal. This actually should KO. Yeah, and just a clean knockout there. So this is actually, the trade works out in Faye's favor, but she didn't know about Burning Jealousy, and she very well could have just lost her Torkoal and won. She could have lost her Cinderace and gotten nothing there. So even though the turn works out, I do think it could have been slightly more safe. And now Tyranitar comes in a turn earlier than you want it, meaning it still has full advantage of the Trick Room turns. So this turn, the play is most likely going to be Bulldoze from the Tyranitar as Faye fakes it out. She does get this nice Intimidate down, but you really don't want to lose your Primarina to a +1 Rock Slide or anything. So... yeah, she has to be careful. She's also running out of resources to deal with this Dusclops. Since, yeah, +1 Cinderace was a pretty good way to do that. So, yeah, 3 turns of Trick Room are left. And against a Trick Room team, it's very important to burn the turns as much as you can. So playing defensively, using Protect, stuff like that. She is going to switch here, which is good. This is a great time to switch, given the board position. Faye? No? Okay. Okay, she is going to switch. But yeah, versus Trick Room teams, it's very important to burn the turns and not let them get their Trick Room Sweepers in any earlier than you have to. Faye doesn't have a way to stop Bulldoze plus Tyranitar here. Her only Pokemon with Protect is Ninetales. The other two don't have Protect, so she's in danger. And because she didn't overwrite the Sand earlier, she now... Or because she didn't get Ninetales in earlier, she does have to worry a little bit about this Tyranitar, like... Oh, interesting. Ally Switch. Okay. I think if that had been Bulldoze, it would have been stronger for the opponent, but at least they reveal Ally Switch to play some Mind Games. But yeah, I think Tyranitar most likely will go down to a Hydro Cannon here, but Faye has to hit it. Now that they revealed Ally Switch, it's riskier, and also you need to switch into Ninetales to have this work. But she's actually switching into Ninetales for Primarina. I don't hate that at all. This could go really badly. Ooh, okay. Parting Shot. Yeah. No? Yeah. Okay, cool. I don't mind playing defensive with Primarina here. The Tyranitar very likely is going to be going for... This is probably Bulldoze plus Rock Slide, but I don't know if it KOs Incineroar. It should KO Ninetales, but it probably doesn't KO Incineroar, I think. But yeah, like, basically you risk both, like, losing both your Pokemon this turn. There's the Bulldoze, she has the Weakness Policy activating, unfortunately, and if Rock Slide connects on both... Like, I don't think Incineroar goes down, but it honestly might. Like, because I'm so used to Tyranitar doing -1 damage to Incineroar that I don't know how much +1's going to do. It's not, like, an easy calculation. So, yeah, she's in a lot of danger this turn because she didn't burn a turn. Like, she didn't waste a turn of Trick Room earlier. So, if this was the last turn of Trick Room, it would be easier. Rock Slide connects on both. I think Incineroar should survive this. Yeah, Incineroar does narrowly survive, but if she flinches here, she's in really bad shape, in my opinion. However, this is good defensive play minus the switching, or minus the possibility of flinching, because this Tyranitar which would have been at +2 other than Incineroar, is now going to be at -1 because Parting Shot's going to drop it again, and then Intimidate's going to drop it one final time to -1 compared to +2. So she has dropped this thing at special attack quite a bit, and now she doesn't have to worry about ally switch as well. So this is actually pretty well maneuvered, I think. Minus the fact that the Incineroar switching in wasn't super safe in my opinion. That turn was a little risky. You're open to getting crit, you're open to getting flinched, and a flinch there probably loses you the game. So it is really risky. However, I don't know if she had a better option because she wasn't able to burn turns earlier. Like there's still one more turn to Trick Room left if I've counted correctly. Let's see, Trick Room went up, Torkoal went down, Tyranitar came in and flinched. Yeah, this is the last turn of Trick Room because that was turn 4. But the nice thing about Primarina is you do not have to play the guessing game with Tyranitar about, or with Dusclops if it's going to ally switch. You can go for Fake Out plus Hyper Voice, and yeah, like it should be pretty strong here, especially because she overwrote the sand and she doesn't have to worry about weakness policy. So Fake Out into Tyranitar, that's correct, and then Hyper Voice is the proper move here. I do not want to see a Hydro Cannon. It's too risky. Risk an ally switch. So yeah, Tyranitar goes for Protect. Okay, it's interesting they didn't go for that sooner. But yeah, they just go for Protect here. Fake Out. You should still Fake Out here, even though the Protect is super obvious, in my opinion. You don't lose anything by clicking Fake Out. Nightshade comes out into Primarina. Opponent targeting on Primarina makes sense. I mean, it's kind of the biggest threat right now, but you do have to be worried because Incineroar can now use Dark moves on Dusclops, or if it had Taunt, it could use that as well, but I don't think it's like a bad play or anything. It's just, yeah. By the way, Hail reveals speed order for anyone who doesn't know. So Dusclops is the slowest thing, Tyranitar is the second slowest thing, Primarina is slower than Incineroar, and then Incineroar is the fastest thing. And those orders are reversed in Trick Room. So, in this position, you probably just want to double the Tyranitar with Darkest Lariat and Hyper Voice. You can also, I guess you can double the Dusclops, but it probably won't KO. If you feel like they're not going to ally switch, you can Moonblast the Tyranitar, which should KO. Basically, I don't think Hyper Voice will KO, but Moonblast should KO. Ooh, actually doubling the Dusclops here, okay. Or, yeah, that's fine too, Opponent doesn't have a great way around this. They have to go for the double protect, they do not get it. If they got the double protect there, they could lose, but I don't think Faye has that much of a better move. You might be able to argue that like Hydro Cannon, Darkest Lariat into Dusclops would be better, but yeah. Because she brought Ninetales, actually, she was able to overwrite the sand. And because she overwrote the sand, she was able to KO there, and she wouldn't have been able to KO there without Ninetales overwriting sand. So overall, I think the decision to bring Ninetales was actually really good. I like the way that she played this overall. I really like the use of Ninetales, and I think that although like there were places where she could have slightly optimized by burning Trick Room turns, I think that like this is when I say I think that she has a lot of potential. It's because like her overall game plan is very solid, and she comes up with creative ways to play. And yeah, like she played herself into a winning position from a matchup that didn't look super good. So yeah. Also notice that she was able to overwrite Weather twice. That's a big deal. Yeah, once on Tyranitar early, once on Torkoal early, once on Tyranitar late game as well. Yeah, overall very well played. I may have sounded like I was being very critical, but again, my goal here is just to point out like every little optimization that you can make or everything that I noticed at least on a first watch through, because I think that's a good way, like pointing out where you could be more optimal is a good way to improve. So it's not that the play was bad, it's not that, like I think she overall played very well and she obviously won, but yeah, Pokemon is a game where like little optimizations are going to go a long way in the long run. So if you guys are interested, Faye streams, her stream is twitch.tv/Faye Mata. I will also link it in the description and the comments down below, I believe. That's my intention at least. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you want to see more content like this. This is like serious match analysis of a game that's not mine. So yeah, let me know if this is interesting. Let me know if this is helpful. It's different than my normal stuff, but it's fun. It's fun for me to do, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Goodbye.